They're not dodging you, they're dodging the mirror you're holding up to them. And in groups, this effect gets even stronger. In private, people might be open to new ideas. But in social settings, status kicks in. No one wants to look foolish in front of others. And so, instead of engaging with your ideas, they might mock them, ignore them, or worse, mock you. It's not personal, it's tribal. For most of human history, survival meant fitting in. Tribes protected those who conformed and exiled those who questioned too much. That wiring still exists in our brains today, which is why often deep thinkers feel out of place in crowds, but find peace in solitude. And it gets harder in the age of algorithms. Social media rewards fast takes and shallow thoughts. The more nuanced your thinking, the harder it is to boil down to a tweet or a 15-second clip. Meanwhile, simplified slogans get millions of views. We live in a culture that values confidence over complexity, and that can leave real thinkers behind. But what can be done? Should you silence yourself just to fit in? Absolutely not. But you can choose how you share your mind. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer believed that the smartest people weren't cursed to be alone, but blessed to enjoy solitude. He argued that once you stop chasing validation, you start creating meaning. So don't dim your thoughts, just aim them wisely. Find the few who value questions more than answers. Speak with care, listen deeply, and when you must be alone, let that be your sanctuary, not your prison. Because in a world obsessed with noise, those who think deeply may walk alone, but they walk with purpose. Have you ever wondered why the more deeply you reflect on life, the more distant you feel from the world around you? It's not your imagination. It's a paradox as old as thought itself. Deep thinking, the kind that doesn't settle for easy answers, has always been a lonely pursuit. Not because deep thinkers isolate themselves, but because the world isn't always ready to face what they uncover. Thinkers throughout history, from Confucius to Kierkegaard, weren't just misunderstood. They were often dismissed, feared, or ignored, not because they lacked clarity, but because their clarity was too much for others to bear. But why does this happen? Why does deep thought, something so vital to growth, often lead to alienation? Let's begin with something subtle: the discomfort of comparison. When you're around someone physically fit, you might feel motivated. When someone is wealthy, you may feel admiration, or maybe jealousy. But when someone is mentally sharp, it's different. You don't just compare your skills, you compare your identity. Because intelligence isn't skin deep. It challenges your beliefs, your habits, your sense of what's true. And for many, that's deeply unsettling. This is where psychology steps in. There's a phenomenon researchers call ego threat. When someone introduces a complex or unfamiliar idea, it forces us to confront the fact that our mental map of the world might be flawed. The brain doesn't take kindly to this. It doesn't say, "That's fascinating." It says, "Danger. Defend yourself." The more deeply you think, the more likely you are to challenge the assumptions others cling to. And the more they'll resist, not out of logic, but out of instinct. You've probably felt it yourself. You start a conversation about a profound idea, and suddenly, the room goes quiet. Eyes glaze over. Someone changes the topic, not because they're rude, but because they're uncomfortable.